Alright, so what is up everyone? Now welcome back to the channel. Yesterday we did have the full multiplayer reveal for Black Ops Cold War. I was planning on making the video actually reacting to the stream, but I decided not to bother with doing that, and instead I thought I'd make a video reacting to all the news that we got from it. So instead of actually, just reacting to the stream, because, there might be copyright issues with that or whatever, I thought I'd just wait till everyone basically got all the details of Black Ops Cold War's multiplayer, or most of them at least, and basically just sit down and discuss it with you guys, and what I'm thinking about it, what you might be thinking about it. This video isn't scripted at all. Like, usually I do write a script and kind of read from it, but today I've just turned the microphone on and I'm deciding to actually just talk about whatever news there is to talk about. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. So I think the first thing that I'd like to talk about, and the most important thing, is actually the Black Ops Cold War loadout system. So there's been a lot of speculation with this. Is the gunsmith going to return from Modern Warfare? Is it going to be a pick 10 system from the old Black Ops games? And I've got an article up here from Charlie Intel. All of these that I'm reading this from will be from Charlie Intel. I'll leave a link down in the description down below. If you just follow that link, you'll be able to read all this information. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read through this article and we're going to talk about it once I'm done. The Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Creator Class system looks to combine Pick 10 with Modern Warfare system into one. It's a different system than what fans have seen before, as it tries to take the best of Pick 10 and Modern Warfare system and combine it into one holistic system for this title. Players have the choice to pick a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, one tactical, one lethal, one field upgrade, 3 perks, and a wildcard as the base way to create a class. So this sounds a lot like Modern Warfare system, where instead of having a pick 10 system, you kind of have everything there to, you can have one of each essentially, which I like, to be honest. I think that's a very good system, and it's better than pick 10. Although, I don't think there's an objective best version of Creator Class. I think I do prefer the standard version, which is like Modern Warfare's, as opposed to like the old pick 10. Let's break down the key features. The gunsmith system also returns to Modern Warfare, allowing users to build out how they want attachments to create the weapon for them to use in game. There are 7 different attachment slots to pick for each weapon, and the attachments have an unlock and upgrade path similar to Modern Warfare. The standard amount of attachments you can pick is 5. Players can pick the following attachment slots for each weapon: an optic, muzzle, barrel, underbarrel, body, stock, magazine, and handle. So it sounds very similar to Modern Warfare, the gunsmith. It's going to work in the exact same way. You can have 5 attachments. You've got loads of different attachment variants. How many we don't actually know yet, obviously, because the one that the YouTubers got to experience was only an alpha build. So maybe there'll be a lot more. Maybe they experience everything. We don't really know yet. We did not get to see the camo selection in action, or how players can unlock camos in Black Ops Cold War. Weapons have their own progression level system similar to Modern Warfare, and leveling up the weapons will unlock more attachments in each category. So it sounds like it's going to work the exact same way once again. It's kind of interesting to me because I wonder how camos are going to work in unison with the levels, because obviously the thing is with Modern Warfare's leveling system, it kind of tied in with the camo system where basically every certain amount of levels you'd unlock a new camo category. So I wonder if the camos work the same as Modern Warfare, or maybe they'll go back to the old Black Ops, classic style. We'll have to wait and see if that. We don't have any details on that yet. We also have some details on some field upgrades. So field upgrades also return from Modern Warfare and can be activated by pressing L1R1 or LBRB or whatever it is on PC. There were 4 field upgrades available in the alpha build of Black Ops Cold War. Here's what they are. Proximity mine. Throwable mine that explodes shortly after one enemy runs or drives over it. Can be avoided by crouching. Destroys any vehicles that run over it. Recharge time 2 minutes. Very simple. SAM turret. Launches missiles at enemy air Scorestreaks and player piloted helicopters. Recharge time 3:45. Jammer. Creates electronic disruption field, disabling enemy field upgrades and degrading enemy minimap information. That's 2 minutes 30. And Field Mine deploys a recording device that highlights enemy sounds on your minimap, and that's 3 minutes 15. So that's all of Modern Warfare's kind of side to the creator class. I would say they're taking a lot more from Modern Warfare than Black Ops, but the main thing they're taking away from Black Ops is wildcards. Black Ops Cold War also features wildcards that allow players to change up some of the rules in the creator class to add in different system variations that exist. One of the wildcards, which is Gunfighter, allows you to equip one attachment per every single attachment slot in the gunsmith for the primary weapon. So basically you have up to 8 attachments. So the other 3 wildcards are Danger Close, equip extra lethal and tactical equipment and start with max ammo. Lawbreaker, equip any weapon in either slot and equip any perks. and perk greed, equip 3 extra perks. So wildcards sound very powerful, I'm not gonna lie. See, the thing is with pick 10 system was that if you wanted a wildcard, you'd have to give up a weapon or an attachment or a perk, you know, something like that. But, you know, you can have up to like 3 with that. But, you know, having 1 here and hearing how overpowered they are, like Gunfighter, the one with 3 attachments, is going to be ridiculously OP. You can have 1 of every single thing. You can have an optic, a muzzle, a barrel. That's going to be crazy. 3 extra perks, I'd imagine, is just basically 1 from each, you know, slot. Lawbreaker, equip any weapon in either slot, so you can probably have 2 secondaries and maybe 3 perk 1s or something like that. That sounds like it makes sense. And Danger Close is just more equipment and ammo, so that's not really a massive one. But that's about everything on the creator class. All in all, it sounds very solid, I'm not going to lie. As I did say, the wildcards seem really overpowered. But we'll have to wait and see how that actually plays, because obviously, you know, we don't have access to a beta or anything. So let's move on to the second part, and that's with Fireteam. Now, this is just going to be a very short section. There's a tiny description here on what Fireteam is going to be. Here's what they say. Fireteam is a new 40-player category of Black Ops multiplayer with up to 10 teams of 4, where the action is centered around not just the operators in the field, but also the environment they battle in. The first available Fireteam game type is called Dirty Bomb, which we'll have more information on as we get closer to launch. So we don't really know a lot about Fireteam, what it is. All we know is that there's 10 teams of 4, so I don't know. I mean, that might be quite interesting. It sounds like the kind of gimmick of this game, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like every COD has sort of a gimmick game mode. Like Black Ops 4 had Heist, Modern Warfare has Gunfight, and honestly, I feel like these kind of gimmick modes don't really get played that often, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you play them once or twice, and like, oh, that's pretty cool. You just end up going back to standard multiplayer. So I hope they don't try and, you know, focus the mode around, you know, the whole game, essentially. They did try and do that with Modern Warfare, sort of. Like, the gunfight was like their proudest achievement. They wasn't trying to force it on anyone. It was just kind of like their proudest achievement. And it is a good mode, don't get me wrong. But I personally don't play it at all. So I just kind of hope that they don't, you know, shove it down our throats and like, oh, Fireteam, you know. I just kind of hope that it's kind of there. And if it sounds good enough, I'll give it a try. But it just doesn't sound like anything, you know, to scream about, you know what I mean? So I want to move on now to the score streaks. There's been a lot of talk about the score streaks and how they actually work in this game. It's quite confusing, but we'll just get into it. We'll see what they say. So, score streaks are back in Black Ops Cold War, but it's not the same as before. A big change with this game is that the score streaks do not reset on death. This is a massive change for Treyarch, who has not really had this as the default option before. In Black Ops Cold War, score streaks continue and build as you get more kills. The more kills you chain together in a single live, the more score you start to earn. The HUD will show chain score on it to signify an increase in score earned for getting multiple kills. And you'll also earn score for helping your team in objectives and more. But we know how many people would wonder how score streak spamming would work with everyone being able to earn streaks as you get kills progressively in a single game. But to avoid that, Treyarch has added in a system where each score streak has a cooldown time that varies by each one to prevent spamming of streaks on the map. So this is a very interesting concept, I'm not going to lie, to the score streaks. I mean, on the one hand, it does sound like, you know, staying alive and getting more kills in a single live is more important, because that's kind of what kill streaks were. You had to stay alive to get them. And it sounds like that's still a pivotal part in it, because you obviously get them a lot quicker if you stay alive. But on the other hand, having this where it doesn't reset means that pretty much anyone can get a streak. Like, it kind of loses its value. Like, if you hear, like, oh, enemy VTOL in the air, or, you know, chopper gunner on approach, you don't think, oh, that guy must be really good, or, you know, something like that. Anyone could get it now. So it kind of loses its value, but, I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, really. I mean, I don't know how I like the system. I think, honestly, before we can actually judge it, we need to see how it works in-game, because, obviously, they've talked about how the spamming works, like, because, obviously, you won't be able to spam it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, if multiple people, so let's say, like, you know, 7 out of the 12 people in the lobby end up getting a chopper gunner, and there's a cooldown on it, then most people aren't going to be able to use that chopper gun. I mean, obviously, depending on, you know, how long the cooldown will be, but if it's long enough so it doesn't get spammed, then nobody's going to be able to use it. So you've added in a system where more people can get streaks, but less people can use them. So it's kind of weird. I mean, I don't want to judge it, to be honest, because I want to kind of wait and see how it actually plays in game. Obviously, it might be a lot better than previous kill streaks. This might be the new system to go for. But we'll have to wait and see for the beta. I'm going to stay optimistic for the most part, but this, it kind of has me worried a little bit. I'm cautiously optimistic with this game, as that's kind of a general summary of how I feel about this game. So there are a lot more details that I'm going to quickly whiz through here, because they're kind of minute details. So one, for example, is health bar in Black Ops Cold War can be disabled. Now, I know a lot of people are actually kind of upset about health bars. They don't really like the concepts. I don't really know why, but it's just kind of like, why would you have it? You can turn it off. So if you don't like health bars in the game, you can turn it off. That's great. Dead Silence returns as ninja perk in Black Ops Cold War, and apparently it only works by reducing your sprint speed or something like that. I'm not too sure. It's not like complete dead silence. It's kind of like a significant reduction in your, in your footsteps sounds. So that's pretty cool. That, it's nice that it's a perk again. So if people complain this year about how it's not a true dead silence, then you're talking out your arsehole. I mean, I'm sorry, but you've got what you want now. Another thing as well is the VIP mode that they've announced. I'm not going to talk too much about this. It kind of reminds me of Heist from Black Ops 4. The general premise of the game mode isn't like that. It's basically one person is marked as a VIP. You need to escort them from A to B. Very simple. But it has a kind of, knocking feature, as it did in Heist, if you ever played that, where if you get killed, like if you take enough damage to die, you'll get knocked and you'll be able to res. So this is going to be like the sort of gimmick once again that Heist was, so I don't really care for it. Standard minimap returns in Black Ops Cold War, so when you shoot your gun, you'll show up on the map. Theater mode also returns in Black Ops Cold War. This, to me, as a content creator, is very good, because not only does it make, making thumbnails a lot easier, because obviously you can get different angles, you can get cool screenshots and that kind of stuff. Maybe you got really good gameplay that you wanted to, use the background for your video. Something like that. If you missed the gameplay, you didn't have Elgato on, or anything like that, you can just go back into theater mode and record it. Obviously, it's not going to be as fluid as the actual game, but it's just nice to have. Especially, like, the main thing for me is being able to get thumbnails, because Modern Warfare, especially without an inspect weapon feature for so long, made it difficult to actually make thumbnails properly for that game. But with Black Ops 4, it was very easy, so it's nice to see that's returning. Now, the final piece of information that I would like to talk about as well is to do with the post-launch support, DLC, that kind of stuff. It's once again confirmed that it's going to work the same as Modern Warfare. This has been confirmed in the past to us, but they basically reconfirmed it, saying that, all post-launch content will be free, it'll be a Battle Pass system like Modern Warfare. Basically, it'll work the same as Modern Warfare. I'd imagine there'll be a store, there's operators the same as Modern Warfare, where they don't actually, like, affect gameplay, really. It's just cosmetics. So if you're familiar with Modern Warfare's MTX system, then you'll be you'll be comfortable with this one, which is great, because I think that's probably the best MTX system we've had in COD ever. It's very good. So that's about everything to do with the news with Black Ops Cold War. It all sounds great, honestly. Like, all the news and all the, like, different features of the game sounds really solid. Like, obviously, you've got the specs of the game as well. Like, you got 4K and 120 FPS and ray tracing and all these, random statistics you just throw about. They're interesting, The game will look sexy. That's all I care about. Statistics don't really matter too much to me. As long as it looks sexy, then I don't really care. But I do want to talk a little bit about the gameplay now. The gameplay, there's loads of YouTubers that have uploaded gameplay. They all got to play an alpha build of the game. That was kind of leaked a few weeks ago. But loads of YouTubers have released gameplay. And I've watched a bit of gameplay myself. And, the leaked gameplay that I talked about the other day, it's the same as that. That leaked gameplay was definitely true. The UI is the exact same. The mechanics are the exact same. It kind of has me worried, because it looks very similar to Black Ops 4. It has sliding, it looks like Black Ops. The best way I'd describe it is, imagine Black Ops 4 in a Cold War setting with a slightly faster time to kill. Well, yeah, that's how I describe it, really. So I don't know how I feel about that, because Black Ops 4 had me very bored after a few months of playing it. I think that was kind of a general consensus with Black Ops 4. But it seems like they've put a lot more passion into this game than they did with Black Ops 4. That was just kind of a... It was supposed to be, I think, a best of Black Ops series, you know. But the thing is with that, it was futuristic, so it didn't have much depth to it. You know, they just kind of threw around guns that didn't even exist in real life, so obviously there isn't much to care about there. You know, this game has a lot, it seems to have a lot more passion put into it. Like Black Ops 4 was just kind of a rip-off of previous games. This game definitely looks a lot better, but it still has me worried because it's similar to Black Ops 4. It's kind of like a Black Ops 1, Black Ops 4 baby, if you want to talk about it in that sense. But I've watched a few videos of different YouTubers talking about the gameplay, and some of them have said that it's its own thing. You know, you can't really compare it to previous Black Ops games because it's its own thing. You know, it doesn't really have a time to kill exactly the same as any other COD. The gameplay is just its own COD. So I think that's good, honestly. I mean, once again, I don't really want to harshly judge the game because I haven't played it yet, and I think that's very unfair because I haven't actually played it, so how can I judge it? But they did confirm that the beta would be starting on October 8th for PS4 first. Now, I've pre-ordered my copy of Cold War on the Xbox One, so I'm not going to be able to play the early access beta. However, I do have a PS4, so I can play on that weekend of the open beta. Hopefully I can get some gameplay for you guys. Hopefully I can talk about what I feel about the game, but I think I'll enjoy it more on Xbox One because I'm used to like the controller and that kind of stuff. But I'll still, you know, I'll still get the beta for then. But I think overall, that's about do it for today's video. That's pretty much everything to do with Black Ops Cold War. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, sorry. I'm not Charlie Intel. You know, I'm just someone talking about a game. But overall, I would say it looks decent. We gotta wait to be able to play ourselves. But I'm mainly in it for the campaign. So that's about it for today's video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, I know it's a longer one, but if you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe to the channel for more Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warfare, whatever gameplay and stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.